Lena, Evan and Peter loved to explore. They were the kind of friends who thrived on adventure, always seeking the next thrill, the next mystery to unravel. Their bond was forged in the fires of countless escapades, from urban exploration of abandoned buildings to diving into the depths of hidden caves. Each journey brought them closer, their trust in one another growing with every shared experience. The three friends had been planning their trip to Silver Creek Forest for months, eager to search for rare fungi and take photos of the moonlit landscape. They meticulously mapped out their route, ensuring they would hit all the spots rumoured to be rich with the elusive fungi they sought. The forest, with its dense canopy and untouched beauty, promised an adventure unlike any they had experienced before. They packed their bags with care, each item chosen for its utility and necessity, knowing that the forest could be as unforgiving as it was beautiful. They had heard stories about the strange tribe that once inhabited the woods, but like all urban legends, they dismissed them as mere folklore. Tales of rituals and sacrifices, of spirits that roamed the forest at night, seemed like the stuff of campfire stories, meant to thrill and scare, but not to be taken seriously. Yet, there was a part of each of them that felt a twinge of unease, a whisper of doubt that perhaps, just perhaps, there was some truth to the legends. The forest was beautiful at first, tall pines stretching to the sky, the scent of wildflowers mingling with the crisp, clean air. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor, creating a serene and almost magical atmosphere. Birds sang from the treetops, and the rustle of small animals in the underbrush added to the symphony of nature. It was easy to forget the world outside, to lose oneself in the tranquility and beauty of the forest. But as the night deepened, the mood shifted. The forest, once inviting and warm, took on a more sinister tone. The trees, which had seemed so majestic in the daylight, now loomed like dark sentinels, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The sounds of the forest changed too, the cheerful chirping of birds replaced by the eerie calls of nocturnal creatures. The darkness seemed to close in around them, the path ahead obscured by shadows. A thick fog rolled in, and the air took on a metallic tang, like rust or blood. The fog was dense, almost tangible, wrapping around them like a shroud. It muffled the sounds of the forest, creating an oppressive silence that was broken only by the occasional snap of a twig or the rustle of leaves. The metallic scent was unsettling, a sharp contrast to the fresh, clean air they had enjoyed earlier. It was as if the forest itself was warning them, urging them to turn back. "We should turn back," Evan muttered, looking at the darkening sky. His voice was tight with anxiety, his usual bravado replaced by a palpable fear. He glanced at his friends, hoping they would agree that they would see the sense in retreating to the safety of their campsite. But the forest seemed to close in around them, the path back obscured by the encroaching fog. But Lena insisted they push on, and soon they were deep in the woods, far from any recognizable path. Her determination was unwavering, driven by a curiosity that bordered on obsession. She believed that the answers they sought, the mysteries they longed to uncover, lay just beyond the next bend, just past the next grove of trees. Her confidence was infectious, and despite their misgivings, Evan and Peter followed her deeper into the forest. As the moon rose, casting its pale light through the fog, they heard it. A soft, rhythmic chanting carried on the wind. The sound was faint at first, barely audible over the rustle of leaves and the distant calls of night creatures. But as they moved deeper into the forest, the chanting grew louder, more distinct. It was a haunting melody, a series of low, guttural tones that seemed to resonate with the very earth beneath their feet. It was eerie, unlike any sound they had heard before. The chanting seemed to come from all around them, echoing through the trees, making it impossible to pinpoint its source. It was as if the forest itself was alive, singing a song of ancient rituals and forgotten rites. The sound sent shivers down their spines, a primal fear awakening within them. Peter frowned. "That's not normal." His voice was barely above a whisper, his eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. He felt a growing sense of dread, a certainty that they were not alone in the forest. The chanting seemed to grow louder, more insistent, as if calling to them, drawing them deeper into the woods. The chanting grew louder, and soon they could hear the steady thud of drums, deep and foreboding. The rhythm was hypnotic, a relentless beat that seemed to sync with their own heartbeats. It was a sound that spoke of ancient rituals, of sacrifices made under the light of the moon. The forest seemed to pulse with the rhythm, the trees swaying in time with the drums. Figures began to emerge from the shadows, their faces hidden by masks made of bone, their bodies painted with crimson streaks. They moved with a grace and fluidity that was almost inhuman, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The masks were grotesque, fashioned from the skulls of animals, adorned with feathers and beads. The crimson paint on their bodies glistened in the moonlight, giving them a macabre, almost spectral appearance. They ran, terror clawing at their throats, but the figures were fast. The forest seemed to conspire against them, the underbrush tangling around their feet, the branches reaching out to snag their clothes. The chanting and drumming grew louder, more frenzied, as if urging the figures on, driving them to capture the intruders. The friends' breaths came in ragged gasps, their hearts pounding in their chests as they fled through the darkness. Lena screamed as Evan was dragged back into the fog, his cries swallowed by the chanting. She reached out, trying to grab his hand, but he was pulled away too quickly, disappearing into the mist. The sound of his screams echoed in her ears, a haunting reminder of the danger they were in. She felt a surge of helplessness, a realization that they were at the mercy of forces they could not understand. Peter and Lena barely made it out of the forest, collapsing on the ground as the first rays of dawn broke through the fog. They were exhausted, their bodies bruised and battered, their minds reeling from the horrors they had witnessed. The forest, which had seemed so beautiful and inviting, was now a place of nightmares, a place they would never forget. They lay on the ground, gasping for breath, the warmth of the sun a stark contrast to the cold terror they had just escaped. Have you ever found yourself hopelessly lost in the woods? The feeling of disorientation, the sense of being watched, the realization that you are at the mercy of the elements and the unknown. It is a fear that taps into our most primal instincts, a reminder of how small and vulnerable we are in the face of nature's vastness. Beware, stay vigilant, because there are terrifying ancient tribe peoples in the woods that few have ever seen and lived to talk about. The legends may be old, but the dangers are real. The forest holds many secrets, and not all of them are meant to be uncovered. So the next time you venture into the woods, remember the story of Lena, Evan, and Peter, and tread carefully, for you never know what might be lurking in the shadows. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and follow us for more. We have many more tales of mystery and terror, stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat and make you question the world around you. Your support helps us continue to bring you the best in spine-chilling content. Join us on TikTok and YouTube for more bone-chilling chronicles, if you dare.